let's talk about how all of the overnight cues really impact our own markets and everything that you should watch from an India market standpoint. We have Mangalam, Hormaz, as well as Sudarshan joining us to take us through the trade setup this morning and everything that we should track. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Hormaz, let me come to you first. Very limited global cues, but take us through what we should track from an India market standpoint.
Very limited global cues, as you just said, Pavitra. And the trend, though, the market in India in general, we've been doing pretty well for ourselves domestically. The trend remains positive. But what needs to be seen now is after a 5-day move, will we have enough legs to move higher from here on? And what has happened is that the Nifty, as Mangalam was highlighting yesterday as well, from Wednesday's low of 21,530, we've already moved almost 600 points in just 3 or 4 sessions. We are up for 5 straight days, but from Wednesday's low, we are up almost 600 points from those levels. And the first level that we need to track is yesterday's high, which was the new record that we made of 22,186. We cooled off a little from those levels, around 60 points from those levels. So that becomes the first barrier for the day. It was a day of low volumes because the institutional participation was very low. FIIs were sellers, but DIIs were buyers, but both the figures for both were under 1,000 crore rupees, so less participation as well yesterday. But the good part about the good and the not so good bit about the Nifty Bank, though, is that 46,700 continues to remain a barrier for the index. The ICICI Bank participated yesterday. That was a good bit, but that was again offset because of the underperformance from HDFC Bank, Axis and the other private lenders as well. But the good bit is that the highs and the low that the Nifty Bank made yesterday were both higher than what we saw on Friday. So it's a higher high and a higher low that the Nifty Bank made. So that is a positive. But there are signs of exhaustion coming in at higher levels, as we can see. Again, there are lack of global cues because the US was shut overnight. Some listings today, Vibhor Steel would be listing. The IPO had a very good subscription, and the GIFT Nifty is indicating a flat start. So maybe a day of consolidation lies ahead.
All right, let's see what plays out. Hormaz, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those cues. But we also have Sudarshan joining us now to take us through all of the stocks that we should watch in today's trading session. Sudarshan, what has made your list?
Morning, Pavitra. So like limited market cues, we have limited stocks in news as well. So first, I'll start with Whirlpool. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that Whirlpool book is launched and promoter is looking to sell up to 20% equity via block deals for $450 million. Floor price for the same is $1,230 per share, which is 7.5% discount to current market price. Kotak Mahindra Bank has redesignated KVS Manian as Joint Managing Director and Shanti Kambaram as Deputy Managing Director. Remember, last week we had reported that KVS Manian is one of the candidates being shortlisted for the post of Federal Bank MD and CEO. NBCC has got 3 work orders of rupees 369 crore. Minda Corp, Bela Agrawal has sold entire 4.5% stake and mutual funds are buyers. Torrent Power is looking to invest up to rupees 2,500 crore to develop 4 projects in Uttar Pradesh. Sula Vinayar, CNBC-TV18 News Break is confirmed. Vedlin West Asia has sold its entire 8.3% stake via block deals, and MS Singapore PTE is a buyer. Peshalo Digital board is meeting on February 22 to consider fundraising, and Deepak Fertilizers has signed a 15-year LNG contract with Norway-based Equinor, and agreement is to supply up to 0.65 MT over 15 years beginning 2026.
All right, Sudarshan, thanks a lot for taking us through all of these stocks. We will watch for these in today's trading session. By the way, it'll also be interesting to see what really happens with the PSUs because of, the last hour activity that we saw yesterday. So maybe that entire pack will be interesting to track. But Mangalam is here to take us through all of the cues from the futures and options space. Mangalam, what are you looking at?
Well, limited or no, the market continues to make record highs when it comes to cues, right? Yesterday, yes, we did see, the markets do well. And after that, there was some sort of profit taking at the end, but nevertheless, on a closing basis, it was a record high. The only fly in the ointment was the Nifty as well as the India Wix were both moving higher. Typically, you would want in a rising market to see the Wix cool off, and that was something that caused a bit of nervousness, and that's something that played out in the last hour of trade itself. But as we move on, yesterday's up move was led largely by the DII moves because 450 crores were the purchase that we saw out there. On a gross basis, the DII volumes were lower and as were the FII volumes. But importantly, the Nifty futures and the Nifty Bank futures. The Nifty Bank underperformed yesterday. The Nifty futures added 1.3% in open interest. The Nifty Bank saw a correction of 3.9% in open interest, and that was telling you that there was some unwinding there. And that's exactly what the FIs did in index futures. They bought about 1,000 crores in Nifty futures, but they sold about 300 crores in Nifty Bank futures, and that remains one of the concerns to watch out for the market itself, the underperformance of the Nifty Bank. They're 39% long in index futures, largely because of the purchase that they made in Nifty. Important to know where the market, goes from here. 22,100 call writers are extremely active. That's telling you between yesterday's high of 186 to around 250, we will see some sort of resistance. And at the lower levels, there would be support at around that 22,000 mark itself. It is financial services expiry, and the Nifty Bank needs to cross that 50-day moving average on the way up. Just watch out for a few stocks. Biocon is back in F&O ban. Delta Corp and Balrampur, both of them did well yesterday out of F&O ban, and we did see a lot of long positions being added on Dixon.
Okay, got that. Mangalam, thanks a lot for laying out all of those cues for us. That is the trade setup as we see it this morning.